Morning. God, this morning I decided that I want to make a fire. It's chilly this morning. It's been chilly for a little while here in South Carolina. It's been nice. Although it is about to warm back up, but it lets you know it's coming. Got to enjoy it for a little while. It's been good. I was actually going to make my coffee with the fire, but by the time I have coals, hot coals and stuff, warm the water up, or even I was actually going to use my little percolator. It was just going to be too long, and I wanted my coffee now. So, I made a fire, not here enjoying it. And just thinking about how I don't want to forget this. Forget, like, the easier things, slower paced things. You know, we all want more. We all want to grow. And growing is a good thing. Having more is a good thing also, but it depends on what you have more of, right? More love, more family around you, more friends. But you also don't want to forget those friends that are there all the time, rather than there. What's that phrase? I'd rather have quarter friends than penny friends. That's what I was getting at. That's what I'm getting at. It's nice to have a lot of people that you know, but having those few that you can really rely on is what's important. Just like when it comes to this, we got the heat on inside, electricity is going, everybody's up, make some coffee with the Breville machine, you know. But it's this simplicity right here that I don't want to forget. I want to grow. That's why we're starting the chicken business. That's why we're doing this. Obviously, I want to expand. I want to have more, but I want to have more in a better way. I don't want to have so much more that I quit doing things. Like today, I recently shot another deer, and I have to process that deer, and that is one of my favorite things. I love being able to do it for other people too, like my friends. My buddy called me last night. He got a deer, and I asked him, I said, "Are you going to bring it here so I can skin it up for you?" He's like, "No, I think I'm just going to take the processor." And that's cool. Not everybody has the ability to hang a deer up and skin a deer and process it yourself. I love cutting up my own meat. Because it's nice to know that I can and that I'm the one providing for my family. What we're going to do with this deer is going to be super simple. Mainly going to do a bunch of cube steak. I probably won't do much ground. I do have some stuff that I'm going to do. I just found out about how to use the shank of the leg. So I'll probably cut those if I have a saw. I thought we had one. Pretty sure we do. I just had to find it. Just trim up. That's the front shoulder. The other shoulder was obliterated. So that's just the front shoulder. This is the rear ham. These shanks. This is the shank that I was talking about. It's going to have more meat on it. And you basically slow roast these. A lot of people don't use it because there's so much cartilage in it. But if you cut at that kneecap and use that and you slow roast it, it's going to fall off the bone. And it should be delicious from what I hear. The rest of it's where you get your bottom round right here, your top round, and then you a bunch of other cuts that I really am not going to worry about. What I'm going to do is I'm probably going to keep this bottom round right here for a roast right here, and then this top is what I'm going to cut and turn into cube steak. So we have one, two of them. Whew, it's cold. What I usually do when it gets colder months like it is what I'll do is I'll heat up a pot of water and keep up here. So as I'm cutting, I dip my hands in it. So that's probably what I'm going to do right now. All right, while that pot's heating up, what you saw me grab in the last video that I cut, which also explained is the back strap. This is the other half of that back strap. You see it angles down, like it gets thinner. Usually what I do with these is I'll cut this silver skin off. Another thing, I'll get into it. I won't touch on it right this second. But what I do with these is I just cut them small and use them for like little steak medallions. Something real quick and simple to cook. Now let me get back on that silver skin. That silver skin that I did not realize, and this is my own fault, has a lot of really good collagen in it. So what I'm going to do, I used to just get rid of the silver skin or give it to the dogs. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to save that silver skin, and then we'll make, I'll throw it in. I've got some more bones. We're going to make some broth eventually, and I'll throw it in there so that collagen can kind of work out and add to that broth. That would be good. So I'll just trim this up, package it like it is. We got some of that offal right here. Liver, just package that up. We'll cut it up later. This is just basically trimming meat from the ribs. Again, you got fat, you got good collagen in it. What I'll do with this is clean it up. That's the collagen I pull off. Clean it up. This will just add to ground. I'm not going to do much ground, like I said, but I might actually, yeah, we'll add that to ground. Clean it up. The yummy heart. This is good. I fillet these, flatten them out, cook it like a little steak. These are the actual tenderloins around the inside of the rear legs, what we call the sweet meat. Packaged up by themselves so you would eat them. I like to cut them up and put them in jalapenos. Wrap that in bacon and cook it like that. The other back strap. Again, there's collagen in that too, but then there's also that silver skin. More of those trimmings. Now this trimming looks real bad. See all that blood in it? It's collagen, or blood, and it's coagulated and stuff. I saved this for the dogs. That's dog food, because it's just going to be too much to try to clean up, and I like to feed them some raw food as well. So I'll actually put that back in the cooler. More trimming. That's pretty much all that's in the cooler. I know that it doesn't look like a lot because of how I have to process my deer. I don't have a large walk-in cooler to hang them. A lot of processors hang them, so it ages a little bit, and it makes it a little easier to cut. I throw mine in a cooler for a couple days, and then I cut it. I'm able to cut it up and stuff. So eventually, when I get a big walk-in cooler, I'll be able to handle more meat and get more yield from the deer. So far, I mean, I'm still doing what I gotta do. I'm not like trimming ribs and stuff like that up that you can. Might start looking into spending more time when I'm actually skinning the deer and doing some of that. But right now, this is what I do. Alright, so we got our hot water here for in our gloves. I'm just gonna take this meat and package that in there. I'm gonna show we'll get down there. Nice and warm. I do like to watch or listen to TV while I'm doing this, so I'm not going to just show you how I cut everything up. I have done that before, so you can go back and look at some of my older videos. But right now what I'm going to do is I'm going to vacuum seal the heart and the liver over there and then cut everything up. And when we come back, I will show you how I do my cube steak. Very simple. Okay, so I got finished cutting up the meat. Right here, this is basically just going to be ground. Use my grinder. Scraps for dogs. Right here is all my thin slices that we're going to run through our cuber. And I'll show you. Pretty neat. Kind of loud, sorry. Like that. Deer cube steak. Sorry, now you can hear me. Just like that, deer cube steak. It don't take much. And this stuff is so tender and delicious. It's awesome. So, let's run through all of it. Look at that beautifulness. Now, we'll use our Avid Armor arsenal to package them up. Another thing we got to work on today is we got to get those chicks out of the brooder because I've had to leave them in there longer than I usually do because of how cold the nights have gotten, and they've gotten a little bit taller than the brooder plates will go, and so it's like they're just kind of crowded in there. But it's time for them to go in the tractors anyways. Using that as an example, eventually, like, I enjoy doing it. I enjoy feeding the chickens and moving the tractors and doing that stuff myself. But because I'm turning it into a business, it needs to be more efficient where eventually I'll have someone working for me and things like that. We'll be doing more. So it can't just all be up to me. So I want more in that, but it needs to be taken off my plate. So I only moved the big ones into the tractors right now because for the rest of this week, the temperatures are going to get up into the 80s, but it's still getting down to like the 40s at night. So the first week ones they should be able to manage relatively well. If not, I can run an extension cord and a light out there to them. I left the younger ones in the brooder I'll probably leave them in there for the rest of this week, just so they can grow a little bit bigger. before putting them in the tractor. Plus, with the fact that there's a coyote around, Zoe said she might have seen him this morning in the front yard, which concerns me because up on the hill we had a light and it made me feel a bit better. On the front yard we don't have a light, so I put the first round of birds in the chicken tractor that has the electric wire around it, and I'm charging my Energizer. So I'll do that, and then when I do put the other birds in the other tractor, if I haven't gotten rid of that the coyote yet, then I'm going to use our wire and just keep it around there just for safety. Other than that, yeah. So that's where we're at right now. Starting to get a little bit more smoke now that we've added some more wood. It's also used as a metaphor, because the more wood we put on, sometimes we get more smoke than we want. Actually, I don't know where I was going with that. I just thought it sounded cool. But really, when it comes to, sometimes the less you have, the more you're able to do. One thing we're really going to focus on, and this goes back to preparedness and stuff, is the amount of bills and debt we have. Because honestly, that's one of the biggest things that worried me whenever we went through the whole Helene, hurricane and stuff, was my job is based off commission, and the area that I service was out of power for a little while, and if people aren't working, if people aren't purchasing the stuff, then I'm not getting paid, and then my bills aren't getting paid, and that worries me. And so we're going to work on lowering the amount of bills and debt that we have. To be honest, I think that fits in very well with homesteading in general. A lot of people talk about Dave Ramsey. I listen to his podcast every single day. I enjoy him. Following his rules, I have not. We did one time and then we screwed up. But I was younger and dumb, and I didn't understand what I needed to do. But now that I have a family, my family's older, my kids are older, they understand what's going on. They watch me, they learn from me. The saying is, more is caught than taught. So I want them to see us living the way we need to, so that whenever we have abundance and other things, that they understand that having the, being being content with what you've got sometimes can lead to having more wealth than you thought, because you have more time to spend on those things that are going to benefit you well and right. Like I said, family, friends, stuff. Something as simple as making a fire outside just to enjoy it with the kids. They're finally moving around. They'll come out here for a little bit. I don't force them. I ask them, hey, do you want to come outside and enjoy the fire for a little bit? And I let them make the choice. And they enjoy doing this stuff too. But having them and wanting them and my wife to have a better situation is my number one priority. Not toys. Although sometimes toys can be helpful when it comes to like a four-wheeler or a golf cart, be able to move stuff around, but that's less of a toy, more of a work vehicle then. But being okay with what you have at the time, but knowing that you're using it to move forward, I think that's a big deal. You just have to pick and choose what's the most important thing to you. Knowing I can process my own deer, but then having to have someone move my chicken tractors It weighs out. Because, in essence, having an employee for a business is going to help grow the business. Paying someone to process my deer so I can eat it, not necessarily growing anything. It's growing their wallet, it's their business. And I'm not hating on them for having a business. But for me, I like to know that I can do it myself. Let's sit here and enjoy this fire. I appreciate y'all.